I just want to say real quick before this video starts. I feel like I will always be doing this for the rest of my life. But anyways, this is just our thing now. Um, I want to say real quick that during that during this video, which was yesterday, which is today for me. um, wow, crazy. Um, first of all, I gotta stop saying crazy. Anyways, I was channeling in that very moment. So all the information that you're getting is what I was receiving in that moment, and I'm still channeling. I'm still integrating and reconciling this truth in this very moment. But as this video starts, throughout the entire video, actually, that's me channeling, like raw in the moment channeling. So you're probably gonna hear a lot of ums and me stuttering and me switching up, me getting stuff confused and stuff like that. So it's because there's a lot happening. Like, I can see the picture of what I was talking about. It was just it was like the outline of the human and their body. You can see the reality of everything, and at the same time you can see yourself in the everything, in the all things. You are the all things. So when you look inside your body, you can see everything, and you can see yourself as well, because it's not outside of you. It's not just outside of you, and it's not just within you. It is you. It is you. So that's also what I was saying too. And when I saw that, I saw a line going down the human, and it was a line with pure chaos. I mean, pure evil and pure goodness, just like mixed together. And that's like the splinter, the center part of the human. I know it sounds crazy, but I told y'all. We are alternate thinkers over here as well. So I want to add that as well, because I had to change. Well, I ended up changing some stuff when it comes to my channel description, and I want to say over here we think alternatively. So our ways of thinking is completely different. That's why I wanted to make that first video, the magical child, because I am the magical child archetype, and I'm also the trickster archetype, and that's something that I reconciled and came to conclusion with yesterday, actually, of this video. When I was making this video, I was understanding what that meant too, and why I am the way I am, and what my purpose is here. So crazy. But yeah, I'm the trickster archetype and the magical child archetype. So how I view the world not only will be through the magical lens, but through a lens that's completely opposite of everybody else's. And that's just what I'm supposed to do. That's just how I am. That's my magic, right? And hopefully y'all can resonate and enjoy. At the very least, just enjoy the content, because we have a lot in store, a lot for our future, and I want us to grow as a family, as a unit. So yeah, I just want to say that we just think differently over here. No one's right or wrong necessarily, unless you're just straight up wrong. Like, unless you're just straight up ignorant and wrong. We don't condone ignorancy, but if you are inquiring, that's perfectly fine. Wanting to know more is okay, but let's not be ignorant about it. But yeah, I just want to say that. Love y'all, my sirens. Okay, so I wanted to say this before, I guess I say lose it, even though I'm still integrating this right this very moment. I'm downloading this, but I was sitting there thinking as I was working on my left hand writing, right? So I'm trying to be ambidextrous. And I'm slick high. Okay, just a little bit. I was there, I guess I was receiving downloads, and I wasn't thinking about it, but suddenly I was just sitting here thinking. I'm watching Esoterica, and he said something that sparked me. He was talking about the left hand path, whatever, but it's kind of irrelevant. But it hit me. Humans, we've been humaning all wrong. Humans have been using the word human all wrong. Human is not humans. We're humans. I'm a human. It's the human. We are the human. I am the human. I'm the human. You're the human. The human is an archetype. It's a very unique emanation of creation. And let me explain. Because when I was sitting there, receiving this download, like I said, I'm still integrating this. And so this is all fresh. I was thinking to myself, like, I really should have recorded this from the very beginning of what we're learning. But the way I was receiving the way, oh yeah, that's what it was. He was talking about the left hand path, because he was talking about this guy who wrote about the clip off and the tree of life, and how it has multiple trees and all that stuff, right? And I guess he had this text that most people think is mysterious and confusing, and it was talking about Lilith shaking the great throne. And it led me to think it sparked something inside myself to say, oh, the great throne. Oh, you mean goodness and evil. And I also, this is a side note, I have the past 5 days, I have been reconciling the principles of good and evil within myself. And that's going to be a video that I'm going to let y'all, it's a video that I'm going to give y'all, eventually, soon, in my terms. Because I'm still reconciling my good and evil, and I'm taking notes, and I'm, pondering and meditating on those things. I'm reflecting on those things. So yeah. But anyways, back to what I was saying. And I was saying, like, because when he was talking about the text and reading over it, I was like, it don't sound confusing to me. And I was like, and I think that's because I can hold multiple things. Even if something is a little true, I can still take that for what it is. Even if something's more true than the next, I can still see everything as true and important. But I was like, I don't think it's that complicated. I was telling myself I took it 2 ways. And the way that I took it was that led me to this anyway, was Lilith representing that. Oh, another thing. People say, this another video I gotta make too. Because this is a part of it. They confuse the word divine with good, and good does not mean divine. Divine does not mean good. It just means higher, of a higher nature, of a divine nature. Higher isn't good. It's above. It's greater. But greater does not mean better. It just means more. But anyways, I just wanted to clear that up. Because they were referring to divine as in like heavenly or angel or angelic, and that's not the case, because negative polarity, the evil principle, demons, they're divine as well. And when he was talking about Lilith being the great throne to the goodness, no, I'm like, no, he's not getting it, because it's not a fight. The good and the evil that you have within yourselves they're not supposed to fight. They're supposed to reconcile, and they're supposed to become one in marriage, in a union, in mind, body, spirit, and heart. They're supposed to be one. They're supposed to be complements to each other. They're supposed to be hoe dance partners to each other. Okay? Tango partners, for crying out loud. And I was like, it's not this or that. It's not this extreme or that extreme. And yes, Lilith was coming up and shaking the great throne of good, right? But it was shaking the throne, the false throne of good. See, people think the principle of good and good, the principle of good or goodness and what it holds means you got to be specifically this. Goodness, the light is the masculine principle. Goodness is of the light. Well, let me rephrase that. The light is of the goodness principle. Wait a minute. How did I say that? The lights, the goodness. Yeah, okay. The light is of the goodness principle. Light comes out of goodness, right? And goodness just doesn't mean, oh, I don't masturbate. Oh, I don't have negative thoughts. Oh, I would never harm anybody, no matter what the cost is. Oh, being super passive, right? And super structured, and or super structured and super formal, and having no room for chaos or change, right? That's what they think good or goodness is, and that's not it. The principle of good, or the principle of goodness, is far beyond basic human understanding. And the same with evil. Evil is just as divine, no matter how you look at it. All forms of evil. And I know that sounds crazy. It's just as divine as goodness. Because one, I am telling you this. One, as far as the system of creation that we have, right? As far as having this system of creation, literally, one cannot exist without the other. Goodness and evil are of the same caliber, the same degree. They are both on the same exact spectrum, like hot, like cold, the exact same spectrum. We don't say cold is bad or hot is bad. No, it's just depending on the setting, depending on the situation. Oh, half the world's burning. That might be considered hot, it might be considered bad. Oh, the whole world is freezing. That might be considered cold, that might be considered bad. Oh, it's so cold out here. We need to bring a little heat in. That might be considered good, right? But to somebody, that also might be considered bad because no, I like the cold. I don't care if you like the heat, I like the cold. And vice versa. They might say it's too hot. We need to bring some more cool air in here. Then there goes somebody else being subjective. Oh, no, it's too cold in here. Let's make it hot. But I hope I didn't lose anyone. Because I'm adding as I go also. So I'm not just talking about when I'm talking, I'm not just talking about the revelation that I had. I'm still having that revelation now. So yeah, I'm going to be kind of over the place. So forgive me. But anyways, as I was saying, it's, damn it, I hate when I do that. I'm so good, then I forget. Oh, I think I'm starting to remember. Yeah, it's not about this or that. It's just what's the situation, what's going on, and they both deserve a divine. The evil is literally there to be a catalyst for change. Without evil, you wouldn't have change. Chaos is the evil of principle has laws, and the core law would be chaos. The law of evil is chaos. The law of the principle of goodness is order. One isn't superior to the other. This is just the systems, the framework that's keeping creation together. It's like a car, I guess you can say. You take off a wheel, the car's in balance. You need the wheels. You need all wheels. All parts moving harmoniously together. You may hate changing the oil. Some people may hate, I don't know much about cars, but some people may hate having to go under their car to keep it maintenance. But you at the same time understand that if you don't keep that car maintained, it will be imbalanced. It will be out of whack, imbalanced, and when you start driving that car, it might explode, the tire might fall off, you might run out of gas extra fast because you got oil leakage, you might be running out of oil, your car might be just wiggling, all because you haven't reconciled all of those points. The problem with humans is They want to make everything this or that. Instead of saying this or that, we need to say this and that. Those are completely two different vibrations and frequencies, and one isn't limited. I need y'all to understand that. But I'm saying this because this leads to my revelation that I'm talking about now. But that's what I was saying. And I was like, no, people are taking it too literally. I think when people take old text, they take it too literally now. In this timeline, people take it too literally. And when you take things too literally, you're taking things at face value and you're not seeing the deeper meaning. And there's always a deeper meaning. Yeah. So I was sitting there thinking that, and it got me to thinking, we were saying humans wrong. We think we're weak because we see demons. They got all this power, so we conjure them up to use their powers. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Hold on. They take things too literally. When you take things too literally, you take it at face value. Okay. And like I said, everything that truly matters has deeper meaning. And when you just take something, what am I trying to say? I forgot. Oh yeah, too literally. And it's not that she was literally doing that. It's more so symbolic. And it could be literal too. Some literacy to that. But legitimacy to that. But it really doesn't matter. None of that matters. Because it's supposed to be taken in multiple different ways. Because the human is supposed to be multiple different ways. And it's not to say, oh, darkness is triumphing evil, darkness or evil is triumphing good. No, it's saying that the perceived good that you once had needs to be shaken up by that perceived bad or that evil, because that perceived good, if not balanced with the evil, can restrict you. Like I told you, goodness is masculinity. It's of the, well, goodness, well, the light is the, oh my god, like I told you, light is within goodness, and that's a very masculine point of view, a very logical, rigid, straight up and down, too orderly point of view. That would be an extreme if you ignore the evil, right? So the evil comes in, or the chaos comes in to shake goodness up, that perceived goodness up, or false goodness up, because people don't realize goodness, you can have a false sense of goodness. You can, easy, very easy, but shake it up and let you know, bitch, wake the fuck up. And the way evil operates is not supposed to be the same how goodness operates, because if it was, it would be the principle of goodness, not the principle of evil, not the principle of evil. And vice versa, because the principle of evil it has a different role than the principle of goodness, and they both not only complement but bounce off each other very well, because that's how they're designed to. They are designed to be twinning them. You have one twin who's an emo, and one twin who loves throwing out flowers at people's weddings just cause they love seeing happy weddings. They came from the same parent. They share the same blood. They are twins. They just express themselves differently. Right? And since Source is everything, why wouldn't Source express themselves differently? Right? Why wouldn't the creator of all things be the most balanced being out there? That wouldn't make any sense, right? And I was like, okay, so the goodness in us is waking up the false, the evil in us is waking up the chaos in us waking up the false goodness, and now it's letting it know. Oh, like I was saying, and the way that it does it is aggressive. Evil is more aggressive. It's more the agitator. It's more attacking, because that's what's needed. That energy, that principle is what's needed. No one is saying you need to have one over the other. We need to have both equal. No one's above the other. understanding they both are divine, they both are perfect, and both are loved unconditionally. But that's gonna be a whole nother video. But I was like, and the human, what the reason why the human is so special. But before I even get into that, I was like, why it seems like, let me finish my other train of thought. The reason why it seems like humans have to conjure up demons for their power, or conjure up angels for their power, or they have to summon a lot of external beings outside of themselves for power, right? And the reason why they think the human thinks it's so small and little, aside from like the nuances of like, you know, higher powers manipulating people, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the core of it. And because at the end of the day, that doesn't even matter, because what I'm about to say is about to just, you about to see it. Okay, so the human, just like how a unicorn represents imagination, a demon represents the negative polarity, it represents evil. An angel represents the positive polarity, it represents goodness. The fairies, they represent playfulness, or wind spirits represent the wind and all its intricacies, etc. Right? The reason why they seem more powerful is because the human has a very unique and very special place. And this also goes into why the human has such an ego of thinking that they are the only beings that exist, and if they can't see it, touch it, taste it, or feel it, it doesn't exist. And I'm not saying that anything, what I'm saying from that moment on to now, anything after, has absolutely nothing to do with making someone, pointing the blame at anybody. I'm not pointing at blaming at anyone. No one is better or worse. This is just what it is, right? And because we feel like we got to draw on external resources, 1, 2, we are operating in the goodness principle way too much, and we haven't balanced our goodness and evil. That also goes into what I'm about to say and why the humans feel so weak. And like I said, of course, us being taught over the years and manipulated and told that humans are just nothing, right? Which, thank God, people are starting to wake up. But you take all of that, right? And then you got a unique system over here called karma. So you take all that and you take karma, and then you also got to take the human is in a very unique, special place, because demons, like I said, represents the negative polarities. Angels represents the positive polarities. These beings outside of us represent certain specific polarities, whereas they don't have to ask questions. They don't have to go outside themselves and say, what am I? Who am I? What is my divine purpose? They don't do that, right? Because they found their niche. They found their niche. They found them. They found their providence, their domain, and they good and they sticking to it. You might have a couple that might question and end up being something else entirely, or evolving from that. But for the most part, they chilling, right? Because that's their niche. They at home with that. They ain't got no problem with that. They connected to everything. If they want to learn something, they can, but they don't have the urge to. But the human niche, the human archetype, the human niche, the human is not about just the potential and what you can do with it. The human is all things. The human archetype is the archetype that embodies all other archetypes in one, right? And once again, this not saying humans are better or worse than any being out there. No. Like I said, every part of the car is important, no matter if it's visible or not, right? And the human I refer to as the Power Infinity Stone from Marvel Comics, where there's these Infinity Stones that have great power. On their own, they are dangerous and scary. Together, they are horrifying and terrifying, right? And when they're together, they have this stone called the Power Stone. I think it's red. I can't remember what color it is in the comics. They changed the colors in the comics and in a live action film. So, but regardless, the Power Stone is the stone that activates essentially all the other stones. The Power Stone is the human archetype. All the other stones are just as powerful, but when you add the Power Stone, it acts as a generator. It acts as the heart, right? And we all know all parts of the body is important, but we all understand as well that the heart is the most crucial part. The heart is the most sensitive, the most fragile part. It's a powerhouse generator, but it's also a glass cannon. You see what I'm saying? That's what the human is. The human is the all things, and it spreads out and expands to the all things out there, to the other archetypes. You can also look at things as archetypes, like the unicorns. That's an archetype. The fairies. That's an archetype. Demons. That's an archetype. Angels. That's an archetype. The human. That is an archetype. And the human archetype is to question, is to be good and evil, is to understand. The human archetype is supposed to be more. And I also refer to the Wicked, the new Wicked movie with Ariana Grande and what's my girl name? Ivero. My girl Ivero. Give me 1 second. I forgot her name. Cynthia Ivero and Ariana Grande. That movie, right? And I haven't seen the movie yet, but I remember I was watching clips and a while ago, and I was thinking a second ago, literally the human, and I was also thinking about the originals, not the originals, legacies too, but I'm gonna get to that in a second. Elphaba, the reason why Elphaba is so powerful in that movie is because she has human and Ozian DNA inside of her. Think about that for a second. You listen to any comic books, you especially, what is it? Invincible? That's a good example. The Invincibles. The Invincible tried to repopulate their race. Who did they have babies with? Every show, every movie that involves enslaving the human race or repopulating a certain planet is always involving invading Earth. The Skrull from the Marvel Comics wants to invade Earth and repopulate, right? Legacies. What was I going with legacies? Oh yeah, legacies. There's a scene. It's a very small scene. I'm probably gonna see if I can put it in here. It's a very small scene, but I think in the 3rd or 4th episode of season 1, they were trying to figure out this. I forgot his name, but Hope's on and off again little boyfriend, hate love crush. I need some water. Hold on. Sorry, we're back. They were trying to figure out her on and off again boy crush. They was trying to figure out why he's there at the school because he showed up out of nowhere, right? And he grabbed this magical knife subconsciously, I guess. Something took him over, and which you find out why, but something takes him over, and he runs in his woods, and he's like, everywhere he goes, there's a trail of death, whatever, right? So they're trying to figure out where can they place him because they find they think he might belong in that school, but they're not sure. So they test his blood, or they test him out and see if there's any magical DNA, or if he's a werewolf or vampire, right? And the guidance counselor, she was like, well, maybe you should check their blood again just in case, because every human, she said every human has a trace of magical DNA in their blood. And that is so true. No matter how small, right? No matter how small that seed is, that divine spark is, right? We all got that in our blood, right? And they got me thinking, the reason why Galactus, the reason why Darkseid, all these beings want Earth, it's not necessarily just Earth, it's the human. That energy. I also want to include this part about Earth. Earth is just a little weirdo, goofball, whatever, a little twerp that for some reason everybody just wants to like. Earth is like that kid that's popular, but not popular by conventional means, not by the typical means, but that kid that's popular because they just talk to every single body. They talk to every single group. Like, talk to the emo kids, talk to the nerds, talk to the Asian kids, talk to the Hispanic kids, they talk to the athletes, they talk to the teachers. Girl, they're in the staff rooms. Like, how the hell you get into the staff room? This is where the staff members eat their lunch. How'd you get in here? Because you got it like that. Like, Earth, it would be that student, that kid. Y'all know what I'm talking about, because I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all seen that one kid that can get away with anything. Like, they're just coming to class, randomly walking in the hall, like, y'all she in class? It don't matter. They're like, it's fine. I asked if I could go for a walk anyway. They said that the teacher said, yeah. Oh, okay. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's that kid that can literally do whatever fucking wants to do, that everybody just likes, including the teacher. So they kind of, I'm not gonna lie, play a little bit of favoritism, just a little bit. And there's a lot of nuance. Oh my god, it's a lot of nuance to this, and I want to make a video about this separately. But yeah, I just want to say that that's amazing. I love that the human produces that. Like I told you, the human is the heart, the generator. So it generates. It's the power stone. When all the Infinity Stones are collected, the human is the power stone, and it goes beyond just because of the undeniable will humans have. That shit is crazy. Really wild. Really wild. Like, scary wild. Which is so insane. But being the human is an extremely higher risk. Is an extremely high risk and an extremely high reward archetype to embody. Not every being can embody the human. Most humans can't even embody the human. This is not saying anyone is bad or worse than anyone. And I don't want anyone to feel that way, because it's not about that. Like I say, I had to understand that the reason why I come off like I know everything, or I speak as a matter of fact, is not because necessarily I know everything, or I am connected to my clear cognizance. It's not about that. It's because I speak at the core of what something is. I see it for what it is. It doesn't matter your subjective views or your opinions or feelings or your ideals or your thoughts. It doesn't matter. This is what it is. You know, I'm that type of person. Okay, I don't care about the branches. Where's the roots? Give me to the roots. I want the root of it. What is the root? Also, one last time before I go for good. When I was saying that, I want to clarify. I don't care about subjective or objective truths, because I look at it as the whole. I don't care about this or that. I combine the subjective and objective. Regardless if the truth makes sense or doesn't make sense is irrelevant. Regardless if it's objective or subjective, truth is still truth, right? It doesn't matter. And when I speak at that core. I speak at that truth. It doesn't matter if it's objective or if it's not logical or not logical or possible or impossible. It doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. The fact of the matter is the truth of it all, the core of it all, the root of this is what this is. So yeah, that's just an FYI that I want to give out because once again, I'm still working on that. And I know probably nobody cares, but it's just something I guess you could say more so for me as I'm perfecting my craft and doing this because I've never done this before. So this is a whole new world for me. And I don't even know what this even is, but I'm along for the ride. So as I'm growing, I hope y'all can grow with me. So yeah, love you little starlights. So, and I hope y'all don't feel that way like I'm coming for anyone because I'm not. And I don't want this channel to ever feel like that, you know. But anyways, being the human is an extremely crucial, delicate archetype to be. And because the human is very fragile, because it's so powerful, it's a glass cannon, it's the heart. Like I said, extremely high risk and extremely high reward. All these other beings, like dragons, oh, they're so amazing. Like dragons, they're very powerful too. But y'all gotta understand that, and this is where the ego comes in. Because y'all gotta understand that being the human, how do I put it? It's a different level of power. What we think is power is being able to fly, levitate, blow things up because I can. No. That's not power. Not true power. You're just doing shit. If that's the case, but you don't need power. You don't need special abilities to do that. I promise you, you don't. So that's not special. That's dead. The strength comes with being able to survive being the human while understanding the human. The human currently on this planet doesn't understand itself, right? We don't understand the human. And the human, because it's so potent and fragile and sensitive and intense, it can easily become this or that instead of this and that. Because the human itself is so powerful, it can easily fall, or it can easily become delusional or blinded. And the human is so powerful, it doesn't realize that the only thing that can stop the human, the only thing that can match the human is the human, right? And any being out there, I'm not saying the human is the only being, but I'm pretty sure most beings out there can reproduce with human DNA. And when I say DNA, I don't mean blood, I mean essence. I'm talking about essence, human essence, right? The human is a malleable species because the human essence, the human archetype, the niche of the human is to be fertile, is to be adaptive, is to represent pure imagination. When you ultimately break source down, source is pure imagination. When they say we are every being in creation, not just the human, every being is a reflection of creation, right? We're a reflection of ourselves. We're a reflection of source, right? But the human specifically represents all. It represents the all, the one above all. It represents source. The human specifically solely embodies pure imagination. Once again, going back to the other archetypes, angels might represent light and hope. Unicorns might represent pure imagination. Unicorns, yes, they represent pure imagination. That's their niche. The human niche is to embody all niches. It's to embody all things. And all things is pure imagination. The unicorns represents pure imagination. Just the pure imagination. I guess you can say it represents, yeah, pure imagination. That's it. No, that's good. And the human represents all of imagination. And all of imagination embodies every archetype. The human is every archetype. The human is pure imagination. Pure imagination embodies all archetypes. The niche of the human is to be everything, right? But because we can be everything, it's so easy to lose ourselves in the no thing. Because we can be all things, it is easy for the human to be no thing. And that goes into why the human always feels despair, why the human always feels anger, hate, less than, or why the human has to put other people down, or why the human doesn't understand the human unless it's very objective, or the human won't understand the human or something unless it's objective or right in your face, or where you can only touch, see, feel, and hear it. That's the reason why the human only thinks they're only human and there's nothing outside of them, and why they're so full of vanity, and in the negative sense anyway, in the sense that's actually not helping anyone. Why they fall into the trap of vanity, or the idea of, oh, they're better than me because they have more money than me. Why we succumb to these little petty things. We're afraid of the human potential. Ultimately, if actually checked out and fully peaked the max the fuck out, it's terrifying as fuck. It is. It very much is. Because the human is the all. Oh my god. I forgot what I was gonna say. Actually, in between that, I lost that train of thought. But why the human can easily become oh my god, the human can easily succumb to its own falsehoods, to its own lies. The human lies are just as powerful as the human's truth. Your lie as the human archetype, your reality as the human archetype, is solely shaped by the human. If the human chooses not to choose, the human won't choose. If the human chooses to be more, the human will be more. If the human chooses to self-destruct, the human will self-destruct. If the human chooses to succeed, the human will exceed. Because the human willed it so. Do y'all understand? The human is everything. The human is literally, I mean verbatim, the exact. I mean the other creatures are too, but they're more so aspects. I'm saying the human exactly, specifically the human is exactly the representation of source. And that's not saying they're better or worse. No being is better or worse. It's not a competition. It's the fact of the matter. Because the human is an experiment. The human is a divine experiment. You put the most potent, the most powerful seed. Let me just drop it into this pond and see what happens. Also, and I'll say I'll be done. But another thing, real quick, I want to add was that I got yesterday, actually, when I was going to sleep or just lying down, was the human is an experiment. The human is an experience. That is solely what I was saying in that little segment of the potential potency of the human archetype. Now, other beings can embody the human archetype, but no being can truly grasp it before the human. So before any being can really grasp the human archetype, we have to grasp the human archetype. So that way it can be unlocked for everybody, for all our cosmic friends and pals. But yeah, love y'all. That's dangerous. That's terrifying. On a unconscious and subconscious level, the human understands the human. And the human knows that if the human is not ready, the human is not ready. Because if the human is not ready, it will do far more than self-destruct. And that's just what it is. Because the human is not just the potential, it's the potency of that potential and what it could do. That's the human. The human archetype is that potential and what that potential and the human archetype is that potential and the potency of that potential and what it can produce. That is the human archetype. We are an experiment. We are that potential potency. We are that. That's the experiment of the human. We have to become that. The human doesn't leave because we transcend the physical body, because the human is the human archetype. It's an archetype. In the next life, the human archetype will be a part of us. If we choose to not come back, regardless if we reincarnate or not, and we decide to go back to our homelands where we are already more evolved, that doesn't change the human archetype and its potency and potential and power, raw power. Raw power. That's why humans are so weak, because we say we're weak. Because the human is that powerful and that strong that what it wields in existence, especially collectively, will come to fruition because we want it to. Truly want it to. It's a scary game out here, kids. It really is, y'all. Isn't that fucking crazy? The human equals the heart. The heart equals the generator. The generator equals the power stone. The power stone. Wait. The power stone equals the infinity stones. Power. All of that adds up to pure imagination. Point blank, period. The human is pure imagination. The human is the all things. The human archetype is literally the exact copy of source. I'm not saying we're the only exact copies, but as far as this in this region goes anyway, we are the exact emanations. And it's not about physicality. That has absolutely nothing to do with that. It's about energy. The human archetype. We are the human archetype. We represent something. and we represent potential potency of pure raw energy, of pure raw creation, of pure raw imagination. We literally can be exactly verbatim like the creator if we choose, because we want to be. That's the human power. That's the human power. We don't have to go out of our bodies to go find external power, because we are the power. We are the power. There's nowhere to go, nowhere to be. Your home is where your heart is, because you are the heart. You are the heart, the generator, the power stone. You are that. It's not where you were born or raised or where you feel most connected to. The heart is wherever you feel unconditional. And when you feel unconditional within yourself, no matter where you go will be your home. Because you know that because the human is the all things is human. The all things is source. The all things is pure imagination. The power is in the heart, is in unconditional love. And that took a left turn, kinda, but it really didn't. Because I meant to throw that story in before, but I totally forgot. But yeah, I just wanted to say that while I was channeling. Y'all, this is raw channeling, okay? I just want to say that. Like, I'm still channeling right now, and I'm still reconciling this. But I'm understanding now more why we have to help the human. Because the human is much more than just flesh and bone. The human is an archetype. It's an energy. It's a potency. A potential potency. The human transcends all things. That's what the human archetype, the human experience is. Yes, it's a playground. Yes, it's a school. Yes. That doesn't matter. What it represents, what the human itself represents at its core, is pure imagination. We are pure imagination. The goal here, and this is why people get confused too, is because we got karma, bitch. We have karma, and we have ties to things and attachments. Because the human is so potent and powerful, it can easily become attached to things and build up karma so easily. And because of that, it can become very self-destructive and have a lot of self-destructive tendencies, like a lot of self-hate, a lack of love completely, just no love at all for some, probably most. Always being confused, never knowing what you want, never being satisfied with what you do have, always in a rush, can't ever sit still. Hold on, that just reminded me, I had another revelation too about stillness. And the reason why the home is where the heart is, because the heart is the human, and the pure power, when you balance your true evil and true darkness and true goodness, it becomes balance. It's not about harmony or even about balance for that matter, but it's about union and communion. And when you are balanced with the evil and the dark and the goodness within you, and you balance out balance and everything is reconciled, you become silent. That's why people are taught to, you don't have to meditate, but find a practice or find something that allows you to not think, whether that means going for a walk, sitting at a park, just sitting on the living room floor patting your dog when you're not thinking about anything. It's about stillness. That's what the heart center is. Because when you're still, you can hear, you can feel, you can be anything. You're everywhere all at once. That's what unconditional love is. That's what the heart is. The human is the generator. The human is the heart. The heart expands and encapsulates and embodies all things. Emotion is far beyond what we understand, what the human understands it. It will never leave you because emotion is how you got here. Because if the source didn't care, didn't have a heart, didn't have emotions, you would literally not be. You would literally be, if anything, without the emotion, without the heart, you would just be NPCs. Everything would be NPCs. You would not be aware of your own existence. But you are, because the human existence is to question their own existence. That's what to be human is. To question, to feel, to hate, to understand, to want to know more, to be powerful, to be weak, to be limited, to know your limits, to surpass your limits, to create. We're creative, we're creators, because we're the human archetype. If that's not one of the best archetypes to have, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, my throat's getting kind of dry, so I'm about to get off. But I'm trying to see if I'm getting something else. I think that was enough of what y'all needed anyway. But yeah, so as I was saying, the human is to just be all things. We are the moment. Not because someone says it so, but because that's what we are. Whatever energy we bring to an environment, that's what the energy is going to be. Because as the human, we are all things. We embody all things. We are the all things. Right? And if we want to be negative and hateful, that's what the vibe is going to be. And if we don't, then that's what the vibe is not going to be. It's up to you. Humans are as strong as they are as weak. They are equally strong and weak at the same exact time. Because that's what the human wants. That's what the human decides. That's what the human is to be everything. And when you decide that you no longer want to be weak, then you will no longer be weak. The human has to understand that it's not about this or that, good or bad, evil or goodness. It's about evil and goodness. It's about this and that. It's about hope and despair. It's about love and hate. Come on. Happiness and anger, or happiness and sadness, shall I say. Another good example, the movie, I don't know, it's about emotions. Whatever that fucking Disney movie is called, about emotions. I'll just put the fucking image up here. That movie. And they're not separated. They don't judge each other. Those emotions understand that they're all equally important. And they all serve a purpose. Evil serves a purpose, y'all. Anger, negative, the negative polarity, the evil principle serves a purpose. And the human hasn't mastered that principle yet. The human have not mastered the evil yet. That's why evil is so potent and powerful. Is because the human hasn't mastered it yet. And that's okay. That's fine. We're getting there. The human is getting there in time. Eventually. Because the human wants to be there. So it's inevitable. We just have to master all polarities and reconcile all differences. And understand. That is where the human is lacking. They're lacking in understanding. Understanding, it will never come outside of you. Understanding will always come from within you. You have to understand that. No pun intended. But yeah, I think I'm still channeling, but I'm just gonna get off. I think I'm good. It's already a freaking hour anyway. Damn it. But yeah, I hope y'all understood that. That was just like me channeling. Just raw. Just raw. But yeah, I was gonna say that because I got that really profound message. I don't know when this fucking video is gonna go up, because I got this right after I was working on my other video that I was gonna post on this channel. Right after. And it was gonna be about, what was it gonna be about? Oh, tips and stuff I wish I knew on my spiritual journey. So yeah. No, you good, I'm done.